The Knicks behind Jalen Brunson take game one in San Antonio, talking NBA Finals right now. Well, that was a great start to the NBA Finals as Jalen Brunson delivers for the Knicks. The guy got banged up in the first quarter. He had to leave and go back to the locker room. He came back, and it wasn't until the third quarter, but in the third quarter, he let it be known that he has arrived at the NBA Finals. Brunson played a great game, mostly in the second half, but he kept his team close. The team around him played well enough. Cat, I thought, was really good in the first half to at least keep Wembanyama at bay and put up some numbers himself. He was a rebounding machine. And ultimately, the Knicks get it done when it mattered most in the second half. Again, Brunson carried the way in the third quarter. Look, the Knicks were down 7 at halftime, but honestly, it was a quick run there by San Antonio to close the half out that gave them that lead. It's worked for San Antonio in the past where they've closed quarters strong or halves strong, and they've carried the momentum. But today, Brunson said, nah, none of that. In the third quarter, he came through. It seemed like there was a little stretch here where he probably had like 10 straight points, and it was pretty much the Jalen Brunson show. And going into the fourth, you felt like, all right, here we go. It's crunch time. I didn't doubt the Spurs anymore because they've delivered so many times in those situations where you thought their inexperience would show up. And today, I didn't even really think it was their inexperience. I just thought that the Knicks were better. I just thought that the Knicks came through behind what is probably the most clutch player in the NBA, Jalen Brunson, because anytime it's the fourth quarter, you can trust that guy. He had a bucket there late where he wanted the N1. He had a bad angle, and again, he made the shot. And I've said this time and time again, like I talked about in the preview, he doesn't get enough credit for the tough shots that he makes. And he had one that stretched the lead to 6, and that felt like the dagger. I believe that one put the Knicks up 6 with just about a minute left, and it just felt like the Spurs at that point. I'm not sure why they didn't even call timeout. I think they had 2 timeouts, and I would have called one there to set up a decent play. I think they just got like a Wemby 3 out of that, and obviously it missed, and that was it. Because then the Knicks have guys like Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, who make their free throws and get it done. Shamet, I thought, was pretty good in this game. His number, he had 13 points. Yeah, 3 for 6 on 3-pointers, and he kept the Knicks going in the first half, making some shots to keep them going. But Brunson's a story. 30 points. Yes, he put up 31 shots, so he went 12 for 31 shooting. But again, he made them when they counted. And look, I much rather have a game like this where you're going 12 for 31 than a superstar backing down, being shy about shooting like how Chet Holmgren played in Game 7, right? I mean, he's a star. He's at that point with no J-Dub for the Thunder, arguably the second best player, and he had 2 shot attempts in Game 7. So you go down swinging. Props to Jalen Brunson, 31 shots, but he made 12, 30 points. And again, he just controlled the game. And quite possibly, most importantly, he wasn't really a liability defensively. And that's the one thing I think adjustment-wise the Spurs need to do more of on the other side is attack him. But I thought it was helpful because he got help from the other guys doing a great job guarding. Josh Hart, you saw him at the end, towards the end of the game, pick off De'Aaron Fox and steal his cookies, right? And so those guys, Josh Hart doing things like that. Josh Hart had 15 rebounds. Okay, so anytime he led both teams in rebounding. Josh Hart, Victor Wembanyama has like a foot and a half on him. Yes, and I understand, right? Because different matchups, it's not just like they're both standing by the basket. Victor's got Cat. Victor's being boxed out by multiple people, understandably so. But when I criticize bigs like Jalen Duren earlier in this playoff run, or Evan Mobley, or Jared Allen, who had like games with 1 rebound or less than 5, to me, that's embarrassing, right? Especially with a guy like Josh Hart bringing now 15 rebounds. And that's the hustle. That's what it is. And he didn't even play that many minutes because, quite frankly, Shamet helped them stretch the floor. The Spurs, obviously, everybody knew would more than likely leave Josh Hart, let him shoot his threes. He's not a great three-point shooter, and he didn't help his case tonight. He went 0 for 3, but his rebounding makes up for it. He was a plus 22, right? If you're going to play defensively the way Josh Hart played, that's winning basketball. And you could afford to go 0 for 3 from the three-point line if you're going to be hustling and getting rebounds like that. So overall, I thought just the Knicks got great contributions from, the whole team, essentially. Alvarado came and made a big 3 in the first half. Again, those guys just held it steady. Karl Anthony Towns, 18 points on 7 for 15 shooting, 12 rebounds, a nice double-double there for Cat. And on the other end, with the Spurs, I hate to say it, and I hate to say it this way because I think he's obviously probably the best player out of everyone out there. Of course, Brunson's got something to say about that. But Victor Wembanyama's got to be better. He just has to be better. I mean, he finished with 26 points, 6 for 21 shooting, though. So that's under 33% and 12 rebounds. But he had 6 turnovers. And, we've seen him recover and respond after tough games. And he didn't personally, the shooting is not good, obviously. But the numbers, on the bad night, if those are your numbers, then you're a pretty damn good player. And he is. And so I expect them to bounce back in game 2. But just like in the OKC series, if the guys around him are going to have average games, he's going to have 40 points, 50 points, essentially, to keep them alive. And, De'Aaron Fox, that's the guy that really, really, really struggled and has to be way better for San Antonio. He finished with 7 points on 3 for 13 shooting, 0 for 4 from 3. And, bad foul there towards the end, fouling Mikal Bridges. He missed what would have been the game-tying shot at one point. That was a, 8-foot jump shot, back rimmed it. And again, at that point, if you're not, going to show up like that, I can't see this anytime soon, but you might see a point where Dylan Harper starts for De'Aaron Fox, a rookie, because De'Aaron Fox has got to be better. And this is the finals. And there's no time to lose, right? And Dylan Harper did not look like a rookie. He played less minutes than De'Aaron Fox, 10 less minutes, and had 16 points and 8 rebounds. And De'Aaron Fox had 7 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists. So, not much else going on. Carter Bryant, 1 point. Keldon Johnson, 3 points. He's the 6th man of the year. You can't finish with 3 points. The Spurs they had a total of 4 bench points if you remove Dylan Harper's night. So 20 points total from the Spurs bench. That's not cutting it. Not when 2 of your starters are scoring less than 10. Devin Vassell, 9 points, 4 for 11 shooting. So, look, if I'm the Spurs, I'm not panicking. I didn't play well, right? Shot 36%, 26% from 3. Heck, even my free throws, 80%. We could do better than that. The Knicks, meanwhile, shot 31% from the 3-point line. But they did shoot 41% from the field. And again, they got contributions from the other guys. And so, again, you have Victor Wembanyama. Yes, he's young, but he's proven that he can recover after a rough game. So we'll see how it goes going into game 2. I will be there. I'm super excited. So we will be there for game 2 of the finals. And I will probably miss on posting a podcast post game, but I'll definitely get a podcast back up before game 3. And I'm excited to see how this series continues. Must win now for San Antonio, right? You can't go down 0-2 at home. So the pressure's on them. Will they be able to, essentially bounce back and take care of the Knicks and send this back to New York with a 1-1 series? I believe they can, but I also believe they have to. Because if they don't, this series could be a wrap sooner than we think. So at least we got a good game 1. It was a lot more competitive than what the final score shows, 105-95, but this was tied going into the 4th quarter. So I expect more of the same, more of good, even basketball where these teams are just going to be knocking each other back and forth, taking jabs at one another and looking. I mean, based off 3 quarters, you were saying this is for sure going 6 or 7. So we'll see how that continues. But again, I know they say momentum's not a real thing, but if the Spurs go down 0-2, losing the first 2 at home, that game 3 in New York it'll be massive. I can't imagine what the fans are going to be like in New York, at the Garden, outside the Garden, in the whole city. So must win for San Antonio. We'll see if they even it up. Hope you guys enjoy game 2 on Friday. Can't wait to talk to y'all after that and recap that game and talk looking ahead to game 3, the first finals game at the Garden in a very, very long time. Talk to y'all then.